Warning: this article contains spoilers for Better Call Saul Season 4, Episode 1, a consistently underrated series. Fans of Better Call Saul are aware of the show's intricate attention to detail. The first 3 seasons were an absolutely gripping watch and a worthy successor to the television heavyweight that is Breaking Bad. Some, myself included, even prefer the AMC and Netflix spin-off. Better Call Saul Season 4, Episode 1 recap. Above all, Better Call Saul is a layered character portrait that charts a man's journey into becoming a caricature of his former self amidst the rich world created by Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. Jimmy McGill, played by Bob Odenkirk, is 3 people: Jimmy, Saul Goodman and Cinnabon Jean. This triplicity of character is further emphasized by the song in the opening, "My Echo, My Shadow and Me" by the Ink Spots. And the Season 4 premiere finally gives us that moment, that breaking point where the transformation starts in earnest and Jimmy is given free rein to nurture his inner soul in a world without Chuck. Michael McKean. The Cinnabon Jean opening frames the series each time around, reminding viewers of Jimmy's grim fate, grounding us in the harsher world of Breaking Bad. These black and white scenes anchor the episode and pick up with Gene being rushed to hospital following his collapse in his work. This also looks like the only human contact the pitiful Gene has had in some time. The hospital trip is fraught with anxiety as Gene's attempts to conceal his identity are put to the test, culminating with the tense moment where he recites his fake social security number to the chatty receptionist. Better Call Saul Season 3 recap. When he finally makes it to the taxi, his stress is worsened by the silently ominous driver with an Albuquerque air freshener and review mirror death stare. Of course, these details are here to emphasize how stressful a life constantly concealing one's identity is. But knowing Saul and what he's on the run from, something more sinister is more than likely at play. Back in the show's main timeline, and Jimmy starts his day as usual, making coffee, searching for jobs, helping Kim, Reese Hearn, with her cast and ignoring calls from Howard, Patrick Fabian, until he can't ignore him and it emerges that Chuck has died in a house fire. Jimmy's silent grief is palpable, but it manifests itself in a way that will become all too familiar. He sits and mourns on a bench that will one day display his face an ad for Saul Goodman's law practice. How will Chuck's death affect Jimmy? The house, where so much of the series is set, is now just a smoldering shell, and gone with it is his brother and all of his possessions. Erased from Chuck's obituary, Kim tries to comfort Jimmy with a bottle of their favorite tequila. He is slow to join her, so Kim drinks the first shot by herself in a scene, laden with foreshadowing, that seems to emphasize their eventual separation. She even fades out of the shot like she will potentially fade out of Jimmy's life. Better Call Saul Season 4, Episode 2 promo. When we see Mike, Jonathan Banks, in the episode he is finishing up his last shift as a car park attendant, now that his money is being laundered by Madrigal. Despite his newfound free time, he can't relax when he is simply handed a check for over $10,000 and actually decides to take his role as security consultant seriously. Impersonating another bald Madrigal employee, he strides into the office and warehouse with such unflappable authority that no one questions his presence and even comply with his gruff orders. Mike's deadpan confidence always makes for amazing scenes that the show has become known for. He even signs a birthday card while he's there. The purpose of this visit seems on the surface like Mike's need to work for his money, but is it just self-preservation, an alibi for earning the money from this fake job? The latter is probably right, seeing as self-preservation, and his family's safety, are always Mike's priority. Who is in the cast of Better Call Saul Season 4? Having successfully orchestrated his plan to get Hector, Mark Margolis, away from his father's business until the final hurdle, Nacho, Michael Mando, looks like he is in for a tough time this season. He's warned that just because Hector is incapacitated due to a stroke, that his territory stays the same. Gus, Giancarlo Esposito, malevolently stares at Nacho the entire time, knowing he's responsible. A drug lord predicts that other cartels will try to infringe now that Hector is gone, but his biggest concern is the DEA sniffing around. His eyes are always on the bigger picture. Sure, Hector is off his back in the short term, but it could lead to grave consequences down the line. It is ironic that in Breaking Bad Hector is the one who eventually has him, stroke and all. Nacho discards the fake pills, but he is being followed. Perhaps Gus thinks he wanted to get rid of Hector for his own personal gain, to rise through the ranks. Better Call Saul Season 4 Netflix release time. Chuck's funeral is packed. A barrage of condolences are bestowed upon the stoic Jimmy. Kudos to Odenkirk's portrayal of a simmering grief just bubbling beneath the surface. The service isn't shown. Instead, the camera switches to Kim and Jimmy driving away after. They drive in silence till they arrive home to find the usually restrained Howard sitting on the ground outside. Better Call Saul Season 5 release date. Howard sorrowfully reveals that he believes Chuck started the fire deliberately, and thus died by suicide. He thinks it is because he forced Chuck out of HHM due to the insurance company raising the rates due to his mental illness. But viewers and Jimmy know that insurance company only caught wind of Chuck's condition when Jimmy mistakenly told them in an act of revenge. Howard takes the blame and Jimmy's realization turns to a callous sneer as he shifts his guilt onto Howard and tells him that is his cross to bear. This cold deflection then turns to a sinister cheerfulness. He feeds the fish and offers to make coffee. Kim looks appalled. Is this Saul emerging? The man who takes nothing seriously and masks emotion with brash comments and cheerful whistling? The episode with Kim looking at Jimmy in disgust. Oh no, it's happening. Better Call Saul Season 4, Episode 1 is currently streaming on Netflix.